Welcome back to Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth. Last time we explored, well, you can see exactly how much of the second floor of You in Wonderland we explored. Actually, exactly a quarter of it, which works out pretty nicely. And we also trained up our characters and leveled up our sub-personas a bit, and hopefully showed just how useful Koromaru and Ken are early on. Oh, actually, I probably should keep Koromaru with me for the time being, because there are a lot of dangerous enemies weak to dark on this floor, which means I will have to pay the nurse's office for healing. The cost is up to 300 yen now, but that's still not that much. Now just go ahead and sell some of these materials. Theodore should be able to make some new stuff out of this.
Please.
Not a lot of money from this stuff, though. Didn't really find any power spots in that floor. The power spot items are usually the ones that sell for the most, but we have rubber bullets. Okay, then. Not sure how useful that is, but yeah, now we have access to the lion happy and a few other things. And yeah, we immediately got access to a better hammer for Shinjiro, so glad I didn't buy that before. Rubber Bullet, it just increases your attack power a little bit compared to the Flame Shot. Splash Shot is interesting, though we won't have access to this until the third floor. This one adds a spread effect to the attack, so it'll hit enemies adjacent to the target as well as the target itself. Some weapons have unique properties like that. And now I have access to the Lion Happy, which is actually a pretty considerable increase in defense. Even though his current armor does increase his HP a little bit, I think I'll actually get this for him, even though it's pretty expensive. Not going to sell the chainmail because someone else could use that. That's fairly decent armor. And in fact, let's... is it more worth it to... Yeah, unfortunately I can't afford another one of those. I should maybe wait until I can afford another one of those, but as for Yukari, who I'll probably take this time... Yeah, it's going to take a little bit before we can get that. Let's go ahead and buy a combat dress for you made out of tongues, which some people in the comments pointed out, which is a bit disturbing. So, party setup, by the way, there's no remove option for the Persona 3 protagonist. He's stuck in your party permanently. I've heard that's not the case for Persona Q2. But anyway, now we have quite a lot of people at level 3, so let's switch to some characters who are level 2. So let's go Zen and Rei, who can probably afford to be on the front lines as well. Zen and Rei, Yukari, I said I'd keep Koromaru, so he might be getting a little bit over-leveled, and, actually, no, let's put Mitsuru on the back, and then, that's probably for the best, I guess. And now sub-personas, I'm going to stick with Pixie on Garisu, I'm going to stick with Agarthion on Koromaru, but yeah, the good thing about Zen and Rei is that they don't use up one of your sub-personas. The bad thing about Zen and Rei is they don't have sub-personas at all. This is what I said earlier when I said they were less versatile overall than other party members. The thing with Zen and Rei is they are kind of like a Jagan character. They start out incredibly powerful, and their stats are high to compensate for them not having access to sub-personas. But later on in the game, once our sub-personas start getting really, really strong via fusion, their lack of sub-personas really starts to hold them back. So that is a major weakness that they have. At least they get kind of a decent amount of SP regeneration through walking. Okay, who to use for Yukari? Well, that's redundant, obviously. Let's instead go with... Who gives the most SP out of... Well, Pixie, but... I think I'll use Azumi for now. And then Mitsuru will take... I guess she'll take Anzu. And we don't actually really have a primary... Actually, wait a minute. Let's not bring Mitsuru, and let's instead bring Shinjiro, just to have an actual physical attacker there. Because I was wondering, wait a minute, I don't have anyone to equip Sandman to, which is probably a bad thing, so let's bring Shinjiro, so I have someone to equip Sandman to. And with that, in terms of equipment, someone can probably take the... You can probably take the chainmail. Okay, and Shinjiro will take the life belt. That seems pretty solid of a setup. In fact, let me just do something. I've got a couple of things that I can just sell that I haven't had a chance to. And they're taking up inventory spots, so... let's just sell the short sword and the plain shirt. And probably that as well. Okay, now that we've saved, let's head back into the labyrinth. Now, while you always have the option to start at the furthest floor, you always start at the entrance of said furthest floor, which is why I made sure to wait until I activated this shortcut before I left the floor. So now we can continue on.
It's a P-spot!
Well, it's a P-spot, but it's also an FOE, but it's on the other side of a wall, so we won't have to deal with it until a little later. Different floors have different items from power spots. Turtle Page, we've seen that in Theodore's shop, and unfortunately that's all. From what people have told me in the comments, power spots in Etrian Odyssey, the equivalent is just basic
Give me your
harvesting
orders,
spots.
and I'll attack.
Oh yeah, the protagonist still calls out the names of different personas, but they're the only one who does. I'm wondering if those voice clips are new, or if they're just reused. I don't think they're reused from the original games. And that got us a new persona card too, so let's see what we get out of this. Upsaras.
Now that it's over, I'm hungry.
You're the same.
Actually, Disarm is very, very useful, because that is a Strength Bind skill, if I'm remembering correctly. In fact, let me just check something. Disarm, Garu, Garu's a bit redundant. Disarm, though, yep, that is Strength Bind. So, I'll explain it, I guess, as I walk, but do I want to put that on someone? Yeah, I'd much rather have it on Mitsuru, because the Garu is kind of redundant with Yukari right now. I'll wait for now. I'm going to keep Pixie on Garisu for the Pulimpa. Once I get that, I'll explain just how good Panic is, but speaking of explanations, Strength Bind reduces the enemy's strength to 1, and prevents them from using physical skills. They can still use regular attacks, they'll just do virtually no damage. Strength Bind, considering a lot of enemies use powerful physical attacks,
Let's be careful.
is incredibly useful. Now, we can see a treasure chest over there, but we can't get that just yet. There's this kind of pink river in the way. And hi there, FOE, we'll deal with you later. Oh no, these things! I hate these swords so much, because they do this. They like to use either Toxic Slice or Stunning Slice, which inflict poison and paralysis respectively. Like I said earlier, status ailments are really, really bad in this game. So yeah, the Justice Sword. This is actually part of why I'm keeping Koromaru in my party, because these things are weak to dark. And also ice, so Yukari will be effective with her sub-persona. But anyway, let's see, I can probably just argue the table, and Zen hasn't learned any elemental skills yet. His elemental skills do become pretty useful later on in the game, but not so much now. Weak to ice, let's see if I can Mudor one of them. But yeah, these Justice Swords are incredibly dangerous if they show up in large groups, and especially if they get a preemptive strike and they just stun everyone. Stunning Slice inflicts paralysis, which makes it so that you can't dodge, and you have a random chance of missing your turn, so kind of like Pokemon paralysis. And wow, you just barely had enough HP to use that. Downside of Zen and Ray is that their lacking of sub-personas means that they're going to keep that HP after this battle's over, so I'm going to need to heal them, probably. Nice crit there, please all-out attack. Thank you. I don't think this will kill. My all-out attacks haven't done a lot of damage, and that might be just because I'm not using my basic weapons. But that actually did kill, nice, and that probably gets me a yes it did. So from now on, if you get an all-out attack finish, you're extremely likely to get a persona card. We have Slime. Slime is interesting because it starts out with Poison, which Poison is incredibly good in this game. Very few enemies, not even bosses, are immune to it. And Poison usually does, it does a massive percentage of the enemy's HP.
And I will continue to grow with you.
And she gained recovery too. Next thing she'll learn is this, which removes binds, but yeah, Poison.
Now I can thrash more enemies.
Back to Poison. I'll be flashing the exact percentage on the screen, but Poison damage is insane. It will usually vastly outdamage your party's damage per turn at this point in the game, or in fact at any point in the game. It's really that good. I should be using my Heal Stone more, actually. I said actually a lot just then, but let's mark out this FOE as territory in red. Okay, now the good news about this area is that we aren't going to get cornered by the FOE anytime soon. The bad news is there are quite a few squares here that we can't reliably step on without going into the FOE's area. Like that, I forgot you went all the way to the wall. Well, I guess we're about to see what happens if you run into an FOE. Not on purpose.
Sorry.
That.
Leader is unconscious. Can anyone revive him? Zen, our leaders.
We need to bring him back.
Well, we will, but unfortunately, that was not good. Okay, I'm gonna just continue to explore this area a tiny bit, but then I'll head back and revive. That was bad. Yep, I knew it would turn around there. So, that was not good, but now you get a real taste of the FOE experience. Just as soon as we start... Okay, we'll be uncovering a shortcut here, so now's probably a good time to get back in
Can't be a normal wall up ahead. Why don't we go check it out?
So now we've opened that up, let's just go ahead and leave. We might as well dump our shadow items while we're here. Patra gem. That can be kind of useful because not everyone has Patra, and Patra at least, Patra costs SP, and SP is pretty hard to recover at this point, whereas money's fairly easy to come by. So here we are back where we left off, and I apologize to Shinjiro fans, which is a lot of people, but I've actually swapped him out for Junpei because Junpei is still level 2 while Shinjiro just hit level 3. So just for the sake of... Yes, I know there's an FOE there. Just for the sake of evenly leveling people, I'm going to switch over to Junpei. They both fulfill a pretty similar role at this point. And right here, we have the map chest.
I wonder if there's some delicious food
And
inside.
as you can see, we still have quite a way to go on this floor. We've got a pretty good indicator of like where the boundaries of the map are. You'll notice that the maps at this point are not filling up the entire possible area that they can fill up. That will change later in the game, trust me. We will be getting full screen maps eventually. And yes, we can now use play coins to open treasure chests, but the less you've explored, the more play coins you have to pay, so not going to do that just yet. I'm going to mark this chest though. I like to mark these chests in yellow. Ah, okay. Now, if this is what I remember it being, then it's going to be very beneficial to have lower level party members here when you open this door. Because we are going to get ambushed.
It's a rare
But by rare gold hands. These things are actually a lot more useful.
You ran a one and
Really? Okay, you ran before I had a chance to do anything.
Let's
Dang it.
keep wearing them down.
Then listen to our leader, okay?
But yeah, these things are a lot more useful than they were in Persona 3. In that game, they only dropped blank weapons for weapon fusion, but here they work like traditional metal slimes. They give a ton of experience. Now, these things have a lot of evasion and they like to run, but putting them to sleep is very good because sleep makes them automatically get hit by things. But even better is inflicting agility bind or panic on them, which unfortunately we don't have access to at this point. But we will hopefully soon.
It dodged!
Yeah, as you can see, we miss these things quite often.
We beat them all.
But crits will usually one-shot them. They tend to take like 1 damage from everything,
Now that it's
but
over, I'm
crits do a
hungry.
lot.
You're the same as always, Ray.
Oh, I just barely didn't get pull info on Pixie out of that.
My persona has powered up.
And I love that
Oh,
line
my
from Junpei.
persona's improved. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. We now have access to a bind skill on Yukari, which is nice. And that's a little redundant with Agarthion. But Agarthion now has Hammer, which is amazing. So that was a very fruitful battle overall.
That was...
Yeah, we fought these things back in Tartarus, but they were very different back then. They didn't give experience, like I said. From what I've heard, they were not in vanilla Persona 4, only Golden. For once, Akihiko's actually making sense.
Oh, a power spot.
Power spot here, let's check it out. Another turtle page. Oh. We have a potential power spot ambush here. We just leveled up a lot though. Let's go for it. We did not get ambushed. Nice. Usually when you see that warning, you'll either get an ambush or a rare item. There are skills that can reduce the chances of you getting ambushes, like I've said before. And they are navigator-only skills.
This enemy seems strong. Please be careful.
Okay.
Give me your orders.
That
And I'll
means that
attack.
this enemy is a little higher level relative to us, but it's nothing we can't handle. This thing is the enslaved beast. Like many things here, it's weak to dark, but it is also, if I'm remembering right, weak to fire. Yes, it is. Actually, it's weak to both light and dark, so yeah, it's kind of screwed in this game, considering how good light and dark are. Yeah, I can go ahead and use Fusion Blast. Mucka Jam, I think it can use Tarokaja, so Mucka Jam might not be a bad idea. I guess I'll just show it just to show what Mucka Jam does, and then I could just go for Hammer or Moodle on it, because if this works, the battle will immediately be over. One enslaved beast is not that much of a threat, but multiple enslaved beasts or enslaved beasts combined with other enemies, that's when things can get
You're getting
dangerous.
stronger.
And we've learned Pulimpa. Pulimpa is insane in this game.
She's growing up too.
And we have access to that, and Resist Elec is kind of nice for people like Aigus and Akihiko. And yeah, remember when I said we'd be getting the Lion piece eventually? Now we have one. Like I was saying though, Panic. Panic is absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know what the developers were thinking when they made it in this game. So Panic means the enemy can't dodge, can't use skills, and it also acts like Pokemon Confusion and causes the enemy to sometimes attack another enemy or itself. So Panic is just insanely good overall. Like, it's one of the best statuses in the game, in a game where status ailments are amazing in general. So, I might as well just go for a Healing Breeze. No real reason to show this battle, but I guess I'll continue to talk about how good Panic is. Yeah, Panic is ridiculous. You really, really, really want Panic in this game on your characters whenever possible, because Panic is just so absurdly good. It breaks FOEs like nobody's business as well, because even the strongest of enemies is kind of pathetic when they can't dodge and can't use skills. And very few of them are immune to Panic either. Some of them might resist Panic, but you only need to get Panic to stick once in order to completely trivialize the fight for a few turns. And not a lot of bosses are immune to Panic either. It's just... Pulimpa is something that you want to have on your personas through Fusion wherever you can. It's an amazingly good ability. Also, multi-hitting physical attacks are nice because 2 attacks means 2 chances to get a crit. And that means 2 chances to get boost.
Good. Let's keep wearing them down.
Finn, listen to our leader, okay?
Well, that broke my instant death chain. And yes, as you can see here, the Jupiter Eagle was trying to do something, but it couldn't because its magic was bound. Oh, one other thing to mention is, you might have seen enemies weak to basic physical elements on the first floor of this place. That's not really gonna happen that much from now on, because enemies are really, they pretty much stop being weak to physical attacks, like basic physical elements, I should say, after the first floor of the first dungeon. You won't be seeing a lot of that from now on, sadly. And you're now panicked. Panic plus multi-hitting physical moves is a great combo, especially a certain multi-hitting physical move that we'll be seeing much, much later on. But if you've seen my test videos for this project, and there's an enemy hitting itself with Panic, if you've seen my test videos for this project, you'll probably already know what I'm referring to.
Now that it's over, I'm hungry.
And the same as always.
There are a lot of physical attacks that are quote-unquote balanced out by them having low accuracy, but low accuracy doesn't matter when the enemy can't dodge at all. Both Panic and Agility Bind help with that, but I'll be covering Agility Bind once we first get a skill that has Agility Bind. And we have nothing here. Oh great, is this the event that I think it is? Creepy amusement park with shadows. I'm surprised there actually are that many dungeons in the series that are like that, although I feel like there's probably one of those in one of the earlier Persona games. Some people have pointed out this game is in a lot of ways like Persona 1 and 2, but those are influenced by old school Shin Megami Tensei games.
Nuh-uh.
And Etrian Odyssey was also influenced by old school dungeon crawling RPGs a lot, so that's where the similarities are, but I guess this game does take quite a lot of influence from early game Persona. From early Persona games too. Especially the first person dungeon crawling. And well, that was a weird event. Some of these events are just random conversations, but others actually give you stuff. Thankfully, that was not the event that I was worried about. You'll be seeing that later on, and yeah, that event is a pain.
3 enemies are attacking.
Oh, these things love to get preemptive strikes on you. And do that! And that! Yeah, poison is really bad.
You two need some help?
What do you mean? This is nothing.
No, it's not. No, it's definitely not nothing. You should stop now. Do I panic the swords or do I panic you? Let's go for the swords. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and use the heal stone on yourself, and Junpei is gonna attempt to do something, but he probably won't hit with it because he has a random chance of not doing anything. Do I heal with Yukari, or do I just... I think I'll just go for a Bufu, and then you will go for Mudo. Yeah, I want to get rid of the swords quickly. Okay, good, that hit. Right now, don't be too surprised if Hamura and Mudo aren't that reliable. They get a lot more reliable later, and yes, I panic that sword.
Easy.
As you can see, panicked enemies... Panic is just so absurdly broken in this game, I don't even know what they were thinking. It's just like, okay, let's combine Confusion, Silence, and Agility Bind in one status.
Oh! Junpei-kun's
I mean, Panic was...
He might not be able to move.
I can't move a muscle.
And yeah, everyone actually has their own unique comments on being statist. One thing that's really cool about this game is they actually justify why poison works on Aigis. She says that it corrodes her systems. I probably mentioned that earlier on. I mentioned that back in my Persona 3 playthrough, but I want to mention that again here in case people didn't watch that. Yukari will actually go that thing and get that weakness registered in our log. I hate Justice Swords in this game so much, and there's an even worse enemy that appears later in this dungeon. A couple of even worse enemies. Yeah, Atlas games do not mess around even this early on. Well, I'm getting insanely lucky with Panic. That's part of why I like having Pixie on the Persona 3 protagonist. He has a pretty good luck stat, so he hits with stat as well, and yep, Junpei is fully paralyzed.
That enemy is weak to wind. I'm just getting started.
Yeah, I know that, but... let's just get rid of this thing quickly. Oh, those sword enemies are bad. I know I say that a lot, but they really are. And you'll be seeing why a bit later on this floor.
There we go. Nice one.
Is that going to give me a... yes, it is. Nice. So we're going to have more Persona cards than we know what to do with at this point in the game, but later on... oh, this is a new mechanic. So this is kind of random, but you'll sometimes get a Persona card that spins around, and that means it starts at a higher level than it normally would. So this one has now learned Orb of Resolve. And Dormina, which inflicts sleep. Sleep is basically just, oh, also, that's a Navigator-only buff, which is kind of nice.
All right, leader. We can always count on you.
And yeah, here you see why the leader tends to level up a lot more than the rest of the party. And that's bad, because it also means healing gets more expensive. The healing pricing, though, it's kind of a nice deterrent against grinding, as well, because it means the more that you grind the protagonist, the more expensive healing gets. But anyway, sleep is basically what you use if you don't have any panic available on hand. It prevents the enemy from dodging or doing anything, but it wears off the moment they get hit by something, whereas panic doesn't. So panic is vastly better than sleep in most cases. So this time the rabbit puzzles are going to be a little more involved than they were before. Because we need to make sure to corner the rabbit. I'm going to actually go ahead and explore this area a bit further first.
Something doesn't.
This is our destination. We need to get the rabbit
better not be
here,
you.
because otherwise we won't be able to move through this wall. And as you can see, there are some obstacles in our way. So this rabbit puzzle is fairly easy. We just need to make sure it gets all the way up here. It's kind of like a borderline block pushing puzzle in a way.
Roger that.
You're not going to catch it. But that's a good thing, because if we caught it, we wouldn't be able to get through that wall. There is a much worse rabbit puzzle later on in this floor. But there's still more to go through here. We are getting close to opening up another shortcut back to the beginning.
3 shadows. Some of them are unidentified.
Hello there, old friends! Nice to see you! Let's hope I destroy you as badly as I did in Persona 3. The Sleeping Table, a very infamous mini-boss from Persona 3, but in this game it's just a basic enemy in the first dungeon. It's also weak to both light and dark, so yeah, it's also weak to ice, but I mean, who cares about that when it's weak to light and dark? Let's attempt to panic one of the swords again. And I suppose since we're fighting a new enemy, I can show off this fight. You know, I'd rather get rid of a sword than get rid of the table at this point. That's a weird sentence, but yeah. Some people pointed out that the table enemies, they have cups, wands, and swords circling around them, just like the minor tarot arcana. I'm getting so lucky with Panic, this is insane. I normally miss a lot with Kalimpa.
It's all mine.
Okay, I should actually probably bring something up here. The way that status ailments work in this game, an enemy only has one status ailment, quote-unquote, slot.
Oh, everyone's really fired up.
What that means is that if I, say, had used Bane Slice on that sword and got the Curse would have overwritten the Panic status, and that wouldn't have been good, because Panic's a much better status than Curse.
Remain.
So you have to plan out your turns to make sure that... yeah, let's just, not do that. Actually, no, let's show off Recovery. Recovery targets an entire row, so it can be pretty useful in that way. But yeah, like I said, you want to be careful with your turns. If you have a fast character use, say, a Panic skill, and then a slower character hit them with, say, Sleeper Punch for the damage, you might end up getting the sleep kicking in and overriding the Panic status. This also applies to you, and this also adds an extra element of usefulness to Aigis' Orgia mode, because Overheat from Orgia mode counts as a status ailment, and that means that if Aigis is suffering from, say, poison or like paralysis at the time Orgia mode ends, it'll actually be cured because it gets replaced by the Overheat status, which is interesting. Junpei is going to learn another skill later, Death Chaser, which is interesting. I'll talk about that once I get it, but Death Chaser is a very unique skill. A bit expensive for this point in the game, though.
Isn't there something strange about that wall?
But now we've opened up another passageway. Before I do anything else, though... Okay, we have a power spot
I
here.
see a power spot up ahead. Why don't we check it out?
Actually, can I do something? Let's do what I said earlier and swap over... It's not Hunting Prayer, it's Treasure Hunter. Swap over to Treasure Hunter just for this power spot. Oh, nope, I got a Dormouse page, nice. And I swapped Personas back, so you might have been wondering why I haven't been using Slime. That's because Poison's better if you have higher luck, and I don't know, I'd rather use Panic for the time being. Poison's gonna be incredibly good later in the game. Oh, hi there, rare enemies. I have Kalimpa now.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd show up.
I was too. So they actually do hit kind of hard though. Oh great. Yeah. Lullaby song's a little annoying.
Junpei-kun can't defend when he's sleeping.
Just ready to come back.
Oh, that's actually kind of sad. So everyone has their own unique things they say when they fall asleep, and some of them are amazing. For now, I actually think I'll just try and get rid of that table. So as you can probably tell, Kalimpa is amazingly effective against these hands because it stops them from dodging or running away. So I think running away is kind of considered a bit of, well...
It ran away!
Yeah. I don't think it's technically considered a skill, but it is something they can do with their turn, and if they're panicked, they are forced to spend their turn just using, you know,
Zen-kun and Raychan are asleep. Their
whacking
defense is
things.
down. That looks delicious.
Stop. Ray. Don't eat.
Well, that's interesting. Anyway, there are some really good sleep quotes for later party members. Most magical cells only do 1 damage to those hands. I forgot how hard they hit this early in the game. Come on, Palimpa. Nope, dang it.
Hit it. One enemy left.
I'm ready to cut loose.
Alright, let's see. I actually think that I really want to inflict it with Panic, but it might damage Gary Stu quite a bit if it hits him. So I have an idea. Let's just go for a regular attack. Koromaru is very fast, so he can go use the Heal Stone immediately. I probably shouldn't have used Healing Breeze, but it might give me a little bit of HP. And yeah, Koromaru is a great user of the Healing Stone because he tends to go first, and it ran away. Dang it.
They escaped.
Well, I got lucky with Palimpa earlier on this floor, but not where it really mattered.
Raychan, I'm worried about you. Your health is very low.
Okay, I think this is the event that I was thinking about earlier on. Yep, this event is pretty bad.
Huh?
So there's a sword here. Now remember how I said that swords were terrible on this floor? There is a reward for this, but you want to make sure that you're absolutely prepared before you say yes to this event. So let's see. Let's heal Zen and Ray up with a medicine, and I think I can probably afford to use Dia on Junpei here. Okay. This could end very, very, very badly, especially since I'm on hard mode. You know, it's probably better... You know what? I'm gonna head back and save before I do this. I don't want to lose all this progress. And here we are, back here. Whosoever pulleth out this sword will get ambushed by a bunch of its buddies. 5 Justice Swords.
So many. All right, let's go.
5 Justice Swords. I'm activating Healing Breeze right now. This fight is an absolute pain in the rear. I hate this fight so much. This fight, as you can probably tell by the fact that I went back and saved, is an absolute nightmare. If we had access to Mamudo, it would be a lot easier, but, oh boy, this is actually really, really annoying. I hope I hit with these Mudos, because I really need to thin out their numbers. If they start spamming Stun Slice on you, this can get out of hand very, very quickly. Like that. Well, that didn't paralyze me. And that did. And they immediately couldn't move. Now, I'm kind of surprised that I didn't get an enemy advantage here. I tend to get ambushed by this encounter, so kind of surprised that I didn't.
Things are heating up.
Now, I believe... Oh, they still participate even though they're paralyzed. Nice. If someone's panicked or asleep, they won't get to participate in an all-out attack or knocked down. Just like the original, just like Persona 3 and 4.
Zen-kun and Raychan are paralyzed. Can they move? I feel all frizzy.
Me too.
Let's just continue to go for pulsing here. Mucker Jam won't really work on them because most of their attacks are physical, but what will work on them is Strength Bind if you have that, which I don't actually have on anyone. I'll probably switch over to that persona the next time I start exploring this floor. Okay, good, you're gone. This fight is going way more smoothly than I expected, but I probably shouldn't speak too soon. Yeah, I've had this fight go really badly, and I believe the first time I ever played this game, I game overed in this fight. Because if you don't see it coming, it will just completely slaughter you. Why did I aim Palimpa at you? I'm stupid. Okay, they're almost gone. Like I said, there is a reward for this fight.
That enemy's weakness is ice.
Go ahead and give me your orders.
And your orders are just continue to double shot these things. Don't even really need Mudo at this point, but I can still go for it. I mean, there's no reason not to. I'm in boost status. And this should be enemy annihilated. There we go.
Good job, everyone.
Koromaru's kind of over-leveled, but I wanted to keep him specifically for the Justice Swords. Defeating them, though... there actually is a real sword in this junk pile.
I see.
And it's a very good weapon for Mitsuru for this point in the game. So I'll be bringing her to the Labyrinth next time we go exploring. For now, I think we should probably be heading back soon. We've done quite a bit in this exploration. But it's always, you know, hard to know when to press on and when to head back.
I get the feeling that there's something special around
Well, we've got an
here.
event here. I guess I can see this and then we'll head out of the dungeon. Rest area. Oh, okay. No point in using this if we're going to head back.
What did you say?
Sheesh.
Be very careful with saying things around Zen, because he often interprets them as a threat against Rei. Oh, we're unfortunately forced to use this area. Well, this does heal you a little bit. Which, like I said, is not going to mean much, because we're going to be heading back right now. I've done quite a bit in this part already. My last Goho M, but I'll be buying more of them. So we've made some pretty good progress once again. We've got up to 72% of the floor explored. If we check our party, we'll see that we're all pretty decently leveled too. So I'll need to switch over to my lower level party members, especially Mitsuru, next time. In fact, I can probably start using my next party right now. I'm gonna go for Ken. Gonna switch Mitsuru in. As useful as Koromaru is, he is pretty over leveled right now. Let's put Akihiko back in. And let's put Shinjiro, I guess. Both been pretty equal. Yeah, let's put Shinjiro back in. So next time we'll be using Team Seniors and Ken. So, see you then.